Topic 4. International Monetary System. Introduction. An international monetary system, sometimes referred to as an international monetary order or regime, refers to the rules, customs, instruments, facilities, and organizations for effecting international payments. International monetary systems can be classified according to the way in which exchange rates are determined or according to the form that international reserve assets take. Under the exchange rate classification, we can have a fixed exchange rate system with a narrow band of fluctuation about a par value, a fixed exchange rate system with a wide band of fluctuation, an adjustable peg system, a crawling peg system, a managed floating exchange rate system, or a freely floating exchange rate system. Under the international reserve classification, we can have a gold standard, with gold as the only international reserve asset, a pure fiduciary standard, such as a pure dollar or exchange standard without any connection with gold, or a gold exchange standard, which is a combination of the previous two. How good are those exchange rates? In terms of A. Adjustment, B. Liquidity, and C. Confident. Adjustment refers to the process by which balance of payments disequilibria are corrected. Good exchange rates should minimize the cost and time for adjustment, BOP disequilibrium. Liquidity refers to the amount of international reserve assets available to settle temporary balance of payments disequilibria. Good exchange rates should provide adequate international reserve to correct BOP without deflating their own economy or inflating to the world. Confident refers to the knowledge that the adjustment mechanism is working adequately and that international reserves will retain their absolute and relative values. Gold Standard System, also known as Mint Parity Exchange Rate System. 1. Operated from 1880 to 1914. 2. Fixed exchange rate system with gold as the only international reserve asset. 3. Each country fixed gold content of its currency, and passively stood ready to buy and sell any amount of gold at that price. As gold content is fixed, so does the exchange rate system. 4. Gold outflows represent deficit in balance of payment. 5. Gold system was replaced due to several drawbacks as follow. A. Constraint on the use of monetary policy. Expansionary policy need to expand supply of gold or may resulted in rising gold price in term of national currency. B. Large discovery of gold causes instable price fluctuation. C. Central bank cannot increase international reserve as their economic grew, unless continuous new gold discovery. Increase in gold reserve will decrease money supply, thus, unemployment. D. Countries with potential large gold production, examples are Russia and South Africa, might have high ability to influence macroeconomic condition through market sales of gold. The interwar experience. The period of World War I, 1914-1918, and World War II, 1939-1945. 1. Operated from 1919 to 1924, exchange rates fluctuated wildly. 2. This led to a desire to return to the stability of the gold standard. In April 1925, the United Kingdom re-established the convertibility of the pound into gold at the pre-war price, and lifted the embargo on gold exports that it had imposed at the outbreak of World War I. Other nations followed. The United States had already returned to gold in 1919. 3. The new system was more in the nature of a gold exchange standard than a pure gold standard. Mostly pounds but also US dollars and French francs were used as international reserves. 4. Seeking to make Paris an international monetary center, France passed a law in 1928 requiring settlement of its balance of payments surpluses in gold rather than in pounds or other currencies. When France also sought to convert all its previously accumulated pounds into gold, the UK was forced in September 1931 to suspend the convertibility of the pound into gold. which devalued the pound, and the gold exchange standard came to an end. 5. There followed, from 1931 to 1936, a period of great instability and competitive devaluations as nations tried to export their unemployment. This was also a period when nations imposed very high tariffs and other serious import restrictions, so that international trade was cut almost in half. The Bretton Woods system, also known as gold exchange system. 1. Operated from 1947 to 1971. 2. A gold exchange standard resulted in establishment of IMF to oversee nations followed a set of rules in international trade and finance. B. Provide borrowing facilities for temporary balance of payment difficulties. 3. U.S. maintained the price of gold fixed at $35 per ounce and ready to exchange dollar for gold at that price. Other countries fixed their currency to the U.S. dollar. Adjustment only allowed by IMF if there is a fundamental disequilibrium, which is usually defined as large and persistent BOP deficit or surplus. 4. Exchange rate changes of less than 10% were, however, allowed without fund approval. Thus, the Bretton Woods system was an adjustable peg system. 5. Collapse of Bretton Woods due to adjustment problems, b. N1 problems, conflict of interest. The most significant change introduced into the Bretton Woods system was the creation of special drawing rights, SPRs, to supplement the international reserves of gold, foreign exchange, and reserve position in the IMF. Sometimes called paper gold. SPRs are accounting entries in the books of the IMF. SPRs are not backed by gold or any other currency but represent genuine international reserves created by the IMF. International Monetary System. The present system and perhaps into the near future. 1. Since March 1973, the world has had a managed floating exchange rate system. 2. The 1976 Jamaica Accords formally recognized the managed floating system and allowed nations the choice of foreign exchange regime if their actions did not prove disruptive to trade partners and the world economy. It was ratified and took effect in April 1978. 3. In March 1979, the European Monetary System, EMS, was formed. And in January 1999, the European Monetary Union, EMU, came into existence with the creation of the euro, which began actual circulation at the beginning of 2002, and the European Central Bank, ECB. 4. Under the present managed float, nations still need international reserves in order to intervene in foreign exchange markets to smooth out short-run fluctuations in exchange rates. 5. The most significant monetary problems facing the world today are the excessive fluctuations and large misalignments in exchange rates. European Monetary System, EMS. From 1979 to 1998. 1. As part of its aim toward greater monetary integration among its members. 2. The main features of the EMS were the European Currency Unit, ECU, defined as the weighted average of the currencies of the member nations, was created. B. The currency of each EU member was allowed to fluctuate by a maximum of 2.25% on either side of its central rate or parity. 6% for the British pound and the Spanish peseta. Greece and Portugal joined later. C. The European Monetary Cooperation Fund, EMF, was established to provide short and medium-term BOP assistance to its members. 3. From March 1979 to September 1992, there was a total of 11 currency realignments of the EMS. In general, high inflation countries such as Italy and France, until 1987, needed to periodically devalue their currency with respect to the ECU, in order to maintain competitiveness in relation to a low inflation country such as Germany. 4. This points to the fundamental weakness of the EMS. In attempting to keep exchange rates among member nations within narrowly defined limits, without at the same time integrating their monetary, fiscal, tax, and other policies. 5. In September 1992, the United Kingdom and Italy abandoned the exchange rate mechanism. 6. High German interest rates to contain inflationary pressures, resulting from high cost of restructuring East Germany, made the German mark strong against other currencies and have been widely blamed for the tensions in the EMS. 7. At the beginning of 1999, the European monetary system became European Monetary Union, EMU, with the introduction of the euro and a common monetary policy by the European Central Bank. 8. On January 1, 1999, the euro came into existence as the common currency of 11 countries of the euro area or Euroland. They are Austria, Belgium, Germany, Finland, France, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, Spain, Portugal, and the Netherlands. Greece was admitted on January 1, 2001. Britain, Sweden, and Denmark chose not to participate. 9. From January 1 until July 1, 2002, euros and national currencies circulated together for nations that so chose. But by July 1, 2002, all national currencies were phased out, taken out of circulation, and euro paper currency and coins became the sole legal tender in the 12 participating members of the euro area. Some important terminologies for understanding international monetary standards. Eurocurrency. Eurocurrency is the term used to describe deposits residing in bank that are located outside the borders of the country that issues the currency the deposit is denominated in. Example, Euro dollar, for USD, Euro pound, for pound, Euro deposit, for euro. Seigniorage. Seigniorage is the net revenue derived from issuing currency. Seigniorage derived from specie, which is usually metal coins, and arises from the difference between the face value of the coin and the cost of producing, distributing and retiring it from circulation. Seigniorage derived from notes is more indirect, being the difference between interest earned on securities acquired in exchange for banknotes and the costs of producing and distributing those notes. Fiat money. Fiat currency achieves value because a government accepts it in payment of taxes and says it can be used within the country as a tender offering to pay all debts. The most widely held reserve currency, the US dollar, is a fiat currency. Federal Reserve notes receive no backing by anything. In another sense, however, they are backed by all the goods and services in the United States economy, because they are declared legal tender by the federal government.